Okay, so we are going to look at the applications of stack, and for that we need some background knowledge about string processing in C++, which you should have gone through in 118 or 119. So this is just a review of what you should have seen in an earlier class. Okay, so we look at in two case stages. The first stage we will look at a simple just how to input a string and access the contents of a string, and then we will look at string tokenization at the second stage. So we'll do it in two stages. All right, so in order to do anything with string, so C++ has a built-in string class, so you can include this header file of string, and then you can also include the C string header file if you want to process the contents of the string as a character array, which you will need for several of these applications. So you just include both these header files. And then the algorithm header file should have the code for reversing the contents of a string. Okay, so include all of this. So this is just it has nothing to do with list or stack. So this is just a simple example to illustrate how to use a string, the functions of a string, how to input a string, and all these things. So that's what I illustrate in this code. Then we'll make use of this for an application of stack. Alright, so string is a built-in class name, and I'm declaring an object of class string. So you could call this any name you want. I call it as original string, and I ask the user to enter a string. Now you could use the cin function and the two arrows and enter original string as the argument for the cin function. But instead of doing that, I'm using the getLine function, which takes up two arguments, the cin and the original string. Now the reason why I use getLine is that if you input a string using the getLine function like this, the string could have more than one word as part of it in the same line. So let me see if I can show this. Okay, so I'm going to run the code. Okay. Alright, so with this you could enter more than one word. So here I am having two words separated by a blank space. So if you have more two words or more, you could, and you want to input as a string, you have to use getLine, and the entire the entire line will be taken up as a string. Now if you use cin instead and say original string, even if you enter more than one word, only the first word will be taken and processed. So if you have two or more words as part of a string and you want to enter all those words and use it for processing, you have to use a getLine function. So that's the difference between using cin and getLine. So if you're already not aware of it, this is time to know this thing. Alright, so then what I do is I initialize another string called uppercase string. So this is how you could initialize a string to an empty string. So this is like a constructor for the string class that takes up a string as an argument, and here it's an empty string. So double quotes without any blank space in between. And then I run through a loop to access the contents of the original string which was input by the user. So there is a built-in function called size function in the string class, using which you can get the length of the string. So that you can also use the length function if you want to. So there are two ways you can get the length of a string: the length function or the size function. Both will return the length of the string. So index corresponds to the characters in the string. So index 0, you have the first character in the string, and index 1, the second character, and so on. So I can access the contents of the string as an array. So I can say the string name of index. So this one is original string of 0. That means you're trying to read or find out what's the first character at index 0, then character at index 1, and so on. So you are just retrieving it, you're not deleting or changing anything. So I am storing that in a local character variable, say C, and then I call this toUpper function and pass that character. So in order to use the toUpper function, you have to use include this two header files, string and C string. So you can do all these things only if you include those two header files. So that will convert this to an uppercase character, and you're appending that uppercase character to the end of this uppercase string. So the uppercase string will be whatever the current value is, it will be appended. So that's why if you see the output that I got, whatever the string you entered, you are storing an uppercase string, the uppercase version, and after you come out of the loop, you print that string. Then if you want, you can reverse that string. So here I am reversing the original string itself, starting from the beginning of the string and all the way to the end of the string. So the reverse function is part of the algorithm header file, and using which you can pass the beginning index and the index that we want to reverse. So there's a function called begin in the string class that will return the index where the string begins, which is index 0, and the end function will return the index of the last character in the string. And you want to basically reverse the string starting from index 0 all the way to the end of the string. So the entire string you want it to be reversed. So depending on what was the original string, if it had more than one word in it, the entire string will be reversed. So now if you print the contents of the original string, that reversed content will be printed because you are reversing on the original string itself. So like I have in the output here, so this is now my new value of the original string. So again here I ran this with cin function. So if you ran this with the getLine function, you will get the entire string in uppercase like this and then reverse like this. Okay, so any question on the string class? Yes, so we could schedule an appointment after the meeting. Okay, so we can meet right after the class. So there is a Zoom meeting ID which I'm not posted it. I hope everyone has seen it. So after the class I start that Zoom meeting. Yeah, so this is my Zoom meeting ID which you can use. So I post office hours after the class from 1:30 to 3, so you can meet me with that online. All right, any question? So let us